Episode 62, phone mistakes costing you money. What if the biggest reason your phone isn't making you money has nothing to do with your product or service, but everything to do with 5 mistakes you're making on your incoming phone calls? This is for my marketing team out there right now. In this episode, you'll discover 5 mistakes that are driving customers from yes to no in a matter of minutes. In this episode, you'll welcome to Mastering Local Marketing, a show that makes sure you don't let another year go by with the same marketing struggles. Learn the strategies that will finally take your small business marketing to the next level. He is the digital marketing guru at Purdue Northwest in Hammond, Indiana. His name's Matt Hansen. Thanks for coming in.
I am here today, Jim. So let me ask you the question, right? So we're jumping into this. How many mistakes is your team making on the phone on a daily basis?
So it's a 2-level thing in that if you go over the past, say, 5 years, there's hundreds of them, if not thousands, and they're mostly related to me. And we stream high school sports on TV. It's growing substantially, and we concentrated just on building it and not on marketing. Now we've turned entirely and pivoted toward marketing. Now we are trying to do some of the stuff that you're talking about. But it has been pitiful. Do you know how many times I've gone to a game or I'm in the canned good aisle at the Strachan Van Til, one of our big sponsors, and someone will be like, dude, I saw you so-and-so, and I called in and tried to get an appointment to buy advertising, and you guys just never got back to us. I mean, what is going on? And it's embarrassing to our marketing team, which we now have, and it is just embarrassing in general. So if you're bringing up a podcast episode and you just want to embarrass me, this is a good one.
Well, yeah. Sorry, guys, on the marketing team back there, but obviously he said to listen today. But no, this stems from yesterday. I was kind of looking at a case study that we're helping develop for a client. And one of the glaring things on this case study was the fact that out of all of the phone calls that they have received over the last quarter, it was in the teens, right? So let's just say 15%. I don't want to call anybody out on numbers or anything, but it was about 15% for this client. So what we're saying is if you get 1,000 phone calls, 15% of those aren't even being picked up. Now, this is a client that is doing extremely well, right? Sells a nice ticket item, a nice price ticket item, but realize that we're talking about 15 out of 100 people that call you aren't even getting an answer. And this is a huge company, right? So how bad is it from a smaller company, a one-person, two-person team? I mean, many times they get busy, they're in store, they're on a call with somebody else, they miss it, right? People miss phone calls. And what the problem is that most people don't have a plan for it. They just assume, they'll call back, right? I hear this a lot from clients. They'll call us back. Many times they don't. They're working down a list. They've gone to Google. They've searched for, auto repair, and they're just working their way down a list. And if they're not getting somebody, they're going to the next and the next. So I think, one of the things that I want to talk about today is just literally having a plan for the phone calls that come in, and realize that everyone that you're missing could potentially be another customer that you are just losing because you don't have the system in place to actually pick up the phone.
So when you ask me that question, I mean, I'll just tell our story on that, is that we basically really it took a long time for you to buy advertising here for 4 years as we built this thing. It wasn't we were in the growth and market share part of being a startup. And at some point we didn't want to take too many on because then we couldn't service them correctly.
Sure.
We have pivoted that. Here it is, the summer of 2025, and we've created all these marketing kids that are here. And Peter Krakowski, who's out there, and he got the phone forwarded to his phone, and so we're not losing those phone calls. But for basically 4 years, I would say 70% of them or more, 2/3 never got responded to. Yeah. And that is, how do you stay in business like that? Well, if you're a startup, you understand that you got to build the product and get the market share, and then maybe you can turn back. But you wind up, I'm apologizing to people.
Yeah.
I just sold a big package to the plumbers. I had to apologize to that guy half a dozen times. He's like, dude, we're trying to buy advertising for a year, and you're just not doing anything. Now, this is a good episode because now you are bringing that out of a bad example, hopefully turning good. I want to turn good policy. What should be a good policy about leads that come in, especially on the phone?
Yeah, well, I think you already said it. For you're forwarding those calls to a personal cell phone, right? So great. There are a variety of ways that you can have an answering service, you can have an AI chatbot or an AI agent, I should say. There's a variety of things that you can do. You can have somebody that is dedicated to the phones. If something clicks and you've got 2 lines or 3 lines, jump over and put people on hold, ask them politely to be on hold. But have a plan for it. So I think I'm not trying to call you and your staff out for anything here, but you have a plan already. You've forwarded that on, and now you're not missing those phone calls that you used to miss.
Well, how do you integrate that with that person should get an immediate email and they should get onto your email lists if they're calling in and you get their email? Mm-hmm. I mean, what is the practical nature of A, creating a list, and then B, integrating all of the emails? They could be from your billing. They could be from your phone calls. They could be from people who've signed up on your website. It could be people on your social. You're getting all these emails and you're getting all these leads, but it really needs to come down to some sort of response email. How do you do that?
Yeah, depending upon the size of a company, right? So you've got a company that has one person, you have a company that has hundreds of people. It really comes down to the CRM. How are you capturing data that comes in? So if somebody makes a phone call to you, is it just simply a phone call? Are you asking for an email for a purpose? Is it just to gather the email? If it depends on kind of the structure too, as why people are calling you. Are they calling you they've got a flood in their bathroom and they're trying to get somebody to come fix a toilet that's leaking all over the place? I mean, that's different than somebody with you where you're dealing in advertising on a local sports network, right? Like, that's different because they may want information in the future from you. When you talk to like a plumber about an emergency situation, my toilet's leaking, you don't need my email. Just get somebody out here and fix this thing right now. So I think it really comes down to, is the email appropriate at that point? What kind of system you have set up, and are you going to use it properly?
I love that word. And my guys out here that are, and women that are out there now, and all I wanted to do in building our sports network was build a system that you could broadcast and stream, and you could get on apps and all that, and it took a long time. Now I want a system for the marketing, and that is almost was kind of a little incomprehensible in the beginning, in that how do we build a system from nothing that we have no marketing to building a system of emails, a system of everything that we've talked about in all of the past episodes. But what I could say to the average small and medium sized business is you don't have to do all the little things we're doing when it's all sales and advertising. But you do, in my mind, you have to get that mentality that you have to have some sort of system, right? And that's your job.
Oh, I can tell you stories about different systems. I mean, one of my favorites, and this is kind of going off of the CRM, but or moving away from
customer resource management, I think it is. Yeah.
So moving away from the CRM, I actually had a client that I was working with a while back, hospitality client, and when people would call in, they had different rooms, right? So think of it as like a king bed, 2 queens, whatever, different amenities for different rooms. And everybody wanted this one type of room, and they would call in and they'd say, hey, we want to come out this time, or they would go to the website, whatever, and it would be unavailable. But when they called, it would be unavailable. And instead of having a system, they would just say, nope, we don't have any availability. That was the end. And what drove me insane is the fact that you didn't try to talk them into another room. you didn't try anything to kind of bring them in at a different time. Maybe there's certain things that you can offer that they would be willing to take a separate room, right? 2 queens or whatever it is, right? It was a flat no, we don't have it. And it was basically no, thank you for calling, and almost like a click. And I mean, you talk about a really bad system. What do you think your customers are thinking, or your potential customers are thinking when something like that happens? And you could say it. I could say it till I'm green in the face. Some people just won't listen. But you should have a plan for that. Number one, we know this is the premium room. Okay, great. We could probably charge a little bit more for that. Number two, we're out of premium rooms from this time to this time. How do we upsell the other rooms? Are there certain amenities that we can give? Are there certain perks that we can give? All of those types of things. So when we talk about systems, one, first you got to pick up the phone, right? Two, when you pick up the phone, you don't just say, no, we don't have that. You try to figure out a solution, because that's what a relationship with a customer should be. It's I'm finding out what you need. I'm trying to find a solution, a product or service that we have. And if I don't have the primary one, is there something else that I can give you that will satisfy the need that you have?
So we're talking with Matt Hansen about the 5 phone mistakes that cost you money. The biggest one, he wanted to use this because he already knew the answer to it, is using missed calls. And I've admitted to about 2/3 for about 4.5 years. And we're trying to get it down to 0 right now. And it's a huge shift. But you're talking about 5 phone mistakes specifically. Missed calls is just one of them. What's another one you want to highlight?
Yeah, so like I said, always having a plan when somebody calls. Don't just say no, right?
So so a system, missed calls, and not having a system.
And then you got to realize you got to sleep at some point, right? So if you're open from 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or 8 to 6 or whatever it is, you got to realize that somebody is going to try and call you at the wee hours of the night, right? So if it's a plumber, HVAC, something like that, I mean, it's supposed to be, I think, 90 degrees tomorrow, so the HVAC companies are going to start getting tons of phone calls. We all know that happens. But let's say your phone shut off at 5. What do you do at that point? I mean, they work down the list. They look for somebody that's going to actually answer the phone. So, obviously, you can stay up all night and answer phones, or you can actually use AI agents at this point, and you can set these things up in a matter of an hour, if not even quicker, right? So it's basically, if somebody calls between this time and this time, the AI agent, which sounds, still sounds a little bit AI, but it sounds like a person. It says, this is XYZ Plumbing. What is why are you calling today? And somebody will say, my toilet is leaking. I need somebody to get out here and fix this. It will repeat and say, okay, so what you're saying is your toilet is leaking. Is this an emergency, or is this something that, that can be handled tomorrow morning? If they say emergency, it can then forward that call directly to one of the plumbers at that point. If they don't say emergency, it will go into queue. It will be delivered first thing in the morning. Now, how many people out there, how many plumbers, HVACs, whatever, how many do you think actually have that set up right now?
Half.
I would tell you probably 10%.
Really?
Really.
Well, I mean, you're coming out of a system. I got a guy across the street from me. He is a plumber, and he has worked for a larger company, but he's been on his own forever. But now he's on his own. And so he's got his own thing, and he's got a couple other plumbers with him. They're used to just answering the phone when it comes in, and if they're on a job, they don't answer it.
Right.
And then it goes to a message.
Right, goes to voicemail.
Right. So the first one is no, just a missed call, and nobody calls. Second one is a system. Third one is setting up the AI. What if you do get a message? Can you use a voice message?
Yeah, so think about it this way, right? I call somewhere and I leave a message on a machine, right? Because that's how we say it. It's a machine, right? Or I get an AI conversation that I go back and forth with. Which one are you more comfortable with? Which one do you feel like you've actually been heard? I know me personally.
Probably the AI one.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're
I
having
didn't
a
even
conversation.
thought of that. I mean, it made me think, which doesn't happen very often. But you're right. I would say that I'm getting more and more used to talking to AI and how you just talk normally. Don't yell
Right.
at it and raise your voice like you're talking to your 90-year-old grandmother or something like that. People are getting more accustomed to it. Yeah.
So if I talk to AI, and I know it's not a big deal, it's a conversation that we have back and forth. It basically says we've taken this information, we've confirmed your address, your name, your problem. It's an emergency. A plumber will be in touch with you within the hour, something along those lines. Versus, this is XYZ Plumbing. Please leave a message. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'm moving on to the next plumber on that list.
Yes, in a heartbeat.
From
in
the
a heartbeat.
AI side, they've taken all this information with the promises. This is how we're going to it's an emergency. You'll hear back from somebody within the hour. I'm stopping there. Okay, I feel like I've actually been heard, whereas a answering machine is not the same way. A voicemail, it's not the same way. I don't know when they're going to get it. I don't even know if they're going to call me back.
So you're calling in, and let's say it is during business hours, and many of the people listening are small to medium-sized business owners or part of a marketing department of 50 employees or something like that. So they can't always answer the phone, but they don't want it to go to voicemail, and they don't want the AI to kick in, and they put the person on hold. What then?
So a lot of people don't have any kind of on-hold systems, right? So again, you hear it today. You're number 2 in line. You're number 5 in line. You hear this a lot when we call NIPSCO or something here, which is how we get our gas and our electric here. But you'll know exactly how long the wait time is. So you can put something like that. So if it comes back you have a 2-minute wait time, that's great. There's other things that you can do with a phone system where you're providing different, promotional messages, right? Have you heard about our warranty system that we have? For $49 a month, we offer this, right? So you can do an upsell or start to tell them about different things as they're waiting. My biggest thing that I hate the most is that music that you get that is louder than the expressway. And it's blaring in through the phone, and they're not providing you any value whatsoever. I don't like that, but that's just me. But use that time. Figure out a system. There's so many different phone systems that you can go out there and get right now, but most people just put you on hold, and there's nothing there. Then that's kind of the worst thing is if there's nothing there, at least you have the music, but take it beyond the music into how many minutes are left, or how on hold, or promotional messaging, or anything like that. I always take it to that next level.
All right, so we are going to specifically this podcast, episode 62 of Mastering Local Marketing, addresses phones and when stuff is coming in. And we will put these basically five problems in the show notes, but let's just summarize. Missed calls. Mm-hmm. Number two,
basically just saying no, that you don't have it, and click and just hanging up. I mean, please don't do that.
And 3 is you don't have an AI agent yet. 4 is
people just don't call back. We see this a lot with seasonality. Somebody is really busy during the summer. Again, going back to HVAC, right? Somebody's installing air conditioners. They've got more work than they know what to do with, but they don't ever sit back and go, all right, maybe the non-emergency people that are just trying to get a quote on a new system, but theirs isn't broken right now. Can you push them out another month or two? Can you give them some kind of promotional discount, right? So just because you're so darn busy doesn't mean you don't give them a call back and see if you can push them to a later date, because once it gets cold outside, or once it's in that fall where it's 50, 60 degrees, and the furnace demands aren't there yet, the AC demands aren't there, you're going to get a lull. So why not push it into that time frame and try new installs that weren't emergencies right there? Give them the call back and start lining up for that time.
And the fifth one, of course, is while they're on hold, man, they should be listening to, you know what, you could get a hold of me and I'll record it for a very small fee. And you'll be on hold and you'll have a whole bunch of marketing messages. Like us on wherever you get your podcasts. Are we on YouTube yet on this thing? Adriana, are we on YouTube on this podcast? Yes. YouTube. You could get us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Matt Hansen, digital marketing professor at PNW. I'm just the host. I'm Jed. Thanks a lot, and thanks to you, Matt.
Have a good one.
All right, until next time, see you later.